First Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. I'm Lead Tracker E, and this is video number 2 in my series of videos on predators, mostly predatory people and spiritual predators, based on my own experiences. The next story I would tell you about is the yard guy. This was a man that barely spoke English. He was a Hispanic man, and I needed yard work done. I was a grown woman by then, had several children, and I hired him to do some yard work. Well, he came back one day, and he was on the porch, and he said that he needed a ride. And I asked him where was his bike, because normally he had a bicycle. He said, oh, he didn't have it for some reason. He spoke very broken English, but he spoke enough to give me a sob story and tell me that he was standing there crying. And he said that he had gone back to Mexico to visit his family, and that when he was crossing back over the Rio Grande, that his child had drowned in the river. And it was a sob story. It wasn't real. I should have had the discernment back then to know this. So I said, well, sure, I could give him a ride back home. And, you know, looking back on it, if he can do all that and get to the Rio Grande and do that swimming, to begin with, he wouldn't have left. He would have stayed there to mourn his child. Anyway, I was a sucker. So thankfully, he had the sense not to take my children with me, which they were getting a little older by then. But I didn't take them with me. But I was going to give him a ride, and he was only a few blocks away on the other side of this small town that I lived in. But as we were passing out the driveway, I looked, and I noticed his bike was there, and it was hidden in the bushes. And that's when it occurred to me that the man was just lying. He was straight up lying. And it took some doing to get him back out of the car. But what would he have done with me had I really gone to take him home? He was drunk, he was lying, and he had a plan. He was up to absolutely no good. So be very careful of people who do your yard work, or handymen, anybody like that you ask for services. Get references, and don't be a soft touch.